That spark of innovation, it's just waiting for the perfect combination of tools and talent to bring it to life. Welcome to Pitch, Build, Scale. I'm your host, Chris Fanchi, a recovering startup founder, veteran SaaS marketer, turned dev tech enthusiast and growth specialist. Each episode, we connect with the builders, the visionaries, and the problem solvers who are redefining what's possible with today's technology and pioneering the websites, apps, and software products of tomorrow. These are the conversations that transform how we build, how we sell, and how we scale technology businesses in a world where the tech evolves by the minute. Ready to stay ahead of the curve? This is Pitch, Build, Scale. Hello and welcome to today's episode. We have a very exciting guest. For those of you just joining the podcast, we are Big North Marketing and specialize in helping dev shops and SaaS companies scale their revenue. So if you want to learn how to take your SaaS or dev business to the next level, please make sure to stick around. And if you're interested in a free growth consultation, just drop us the word growth in the DMs. We're really excited to have today's guest, Brandon Wong, the founder and CEO of Demystify AI, an AI automation platform that helps small and mid-sized businesses convert leads, improve support, and scale customer engagement with 24/7 AI agents trained on your website. Brandon's background spans Hollywood tech, cybersecurity, and entrepreneurship, and today he's building tools that change the game for service businesses and e-commerce brands alike. Brandon, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
So I always like to start with a little bit about your background. What got you started in technology and development?
Well, it goes back to when I was little, starting with computers, sort of the people I grew up with, also into tech. But I've always had a passion for puzzles, challenging myself through very analytical things, logical. So tech was just a natural, I feel like, career path for me. I didn't start programming, like real programming, until around college time, but I did do a lot of like HTML, CSS, JavaScript in high school.
So did you always have it in your mind that you wanted to be an entrepreneur, or is that something that came along a little later on?
But yeah, the funny you mentioned that, because back in the day when senior year of high school, one of my teachers had me write, or all of us write, a letter to ourselves in 10 years. And the letter that I wrote to myself was that I would graduate from UCLA and then also start my own software company eventually. So at that time, I had a hunch that I would do something similar. I was very entrepreneurial in mindset, but it didn't really play out until like the last 2 years of that 10-year period, which is kind of funny because I was working. So I didn't really have the need or the means to even take the leap of faith into business.
Walk us through that transition. What was that path and that journey like for you?
For the most part of it, it was AI, I would say. And I feel like a lot of people can relate. So it was one of those mind-blowing pivotal technologies similar to social media or the internet that really just took the world by storm. And it took me by storm because my job, I could see it being automated very quickly. And so I had to make the decision mentally and physically and emotionally to either embrace the change or to flee, essentially. And I found myself in a position where I had some savings and also some time to take the risk, and also supportive family, supportive friends that are also entrepreneurs, and made the decision to actually just do it.
Is there a specific moment that you can remember where you decided, AI is what I'm going to dedicate the next few years of my life to, building a company around this?
I would say, like, after I got back from my travels, like I took about a year sabbatical after leaving the academy to just sort of find myself, but also enjoy life a little bit since I was on the working spree. And so I spent a lot of my savings doing that. And I hit up a friend of mine, Adrian, who's my co-founder, asked him what he was doing. And we've been friends for a while too. And he said that he was also in between jobs. And I thought, you know what? If you're down, I'm down. Let's open an AI shop and let's see if we can build something together. And I think that was the pivotal moment, because finding a partner is definitely important in entrepreneurship, in my opinion, because it keeps you accountable. They have a quote that says, if you want to go fast, do it alone. But if you want to go far, do it together. And in my opinion, that's probably as cheesy as it sounds, that was the moment where I thought, okay, this is going to be an opportunity which we need to capitalize on.
So what brought you to the solution that you chose to pursue? Was it past experiences working with different technologies, or was this something that you just saw in the market that seemed like a hole that needed to be filled?
A little bit of both. Good question. So Demystify AI itself is a very knowledge and education based term, right? So we wanted to be part of that distribution layer. So AI itself is a very abstract concept to anybody, and the only way to actually make it useful is if people are using it in their day-to-day lives. But not everybody is technical. So we, as software engineers, we both wanted to build a platform which bridges that gap. And so we had to talk to a lot of customers, talk to a lot of business owners, and figure out how can we meet them where they're at, and build a platform that's not like ChatGPT, because ChatGPT already has that market, and ChatGPT is also very hard to build, but somewhere that we can distribute it at mass scale to people, to real people.
So who would you say you're ultimately building the platform for?
Our ICP is business owners for sure. Not every business owner. So specifically service-based industry, people who work with other people like personal trainers, HVAC, electricians, plumbers. We have e-commerce as a niche as well. But we don't do things like working with legal businesses or finance or medical as of yet, just because there's a lot of compliance issues, regulations, and disclaimers that we need to add to the AI. More guardrails, so to speak.
But talk a little bit more about Demystify AI in general. Like, how are you going about solving the problem that you identified?
Yeah, I guess we can start with the beginning of Demystify. We started off as an agency, chatbot development agency. So building those little widget bubbles at the bottom of your website. And then we realized that it would be very hard to scale this. So after helping a lot of businesses with their needs and their wants when it comes to chatbot development, we decided to build a platform, so a SaaS product, which is Demy.Chat. And we went live with that last month. We had a bunch of beta users and we converted them over. And we've been pretty successful so far with the amount of users that we have and the niches that we're trying to fill. We want to dive more into local government. So we have a separate consulting product that deals with cities in California. And then Demy.Chat is our sort of all-rounder LLM product that works with like just small to mid-sized businesses for the moment. And I think those are the two buckets that we're sort of focused on these days, just trying to reach mass distribution if possible.
How is your target market? How receptive have they been to your product, given that a lot of them aren't necessarily tech savvy or ahead of the curve in terms of technology? How are they responding to it?
Yeah, it's been a lot of white glove experiences and just, you know, tailoring the bot to their use case. So because industry agnostic, it's definitely a blessing and a curse. So we've noticed that with the entrepreneurs that come and ask us for our solution, we've sort of hybrid consulting found different use cases for the way that Demi can work best in their industry and how they generate leads, and also how they want to lead convert or lead capture and what messages they want to pitch to their customers or potential customers. That would be probably the hardest part because everybody has their own way on how they see Demi. We want it to be a creative environment where they can learn to use the tool, but there is a learning curve for sure. So yeah, that's a good point that you made.
How are you currently balancing product development and go-to-market approach, like that sales side of things versus building out the new product?
Arguably, I feel like I'm not, but like honestly, but yeah, obviously I am. I am in some ways doing it, and I have to give credit to my team. So I have a team of developers and also have a team of sales and marketing people. Very small, but they are people who I've kind of learned to trust over the years and trust their opinion on where things are going. So I do offload a lot of my tasks to them. And when it comes to their opinions on how they think the product should be built, I let them kind of talk to each other and team build. For me, it's more of just I become the face of the company where I kind of direct the vision versus the actually the weeds of building the product. But yeah, I really do give credit to everyone who's been working on it so far because it wouldn't be where it is now without them.
So in terms of customer feedback, how have you been able to get feedback from the clients or customers as you're still in the early phase? You said it's just a beta right now of your Demi product. What has been your methodology for getting feedback, and how do you filter that to be to identify what's most important to move forward with versus what is just one person's opinion or experience?
Yeah, I think the filtering out is the most important part because you get a lot of criticism these days when it comes to like if it's too expensive or if it doesn't work for me, if it's too breaky. But yeah, what we've been doing is we've been using Demy, of course, as our filter feedback funnel. But I think we look at the feedback that our customers have, and then we make decisions on how viable the technical implementations would be, if it's worth even giving it our attention. Because a lot of it isn't warranted, but a lot of it is very valid. So we don't have any specific systems because the feedback comes from everywhere. It comes from LinkedIn, it comes from email, it comes from text. Because a lot of people that are using my product I know personally. It comes through Demi, it comes through all different parts of the ecosystem. So but I do get it personally, and then I then me and my co-founder Adrian will go through it and then dish out the proper features needed.
So, talking a little more broadly now about the AI space, you grabbed on to AI early on. It sounds like you saw the potential there. What is something about AI that you would say many business owners still don't understand, or things that they don't grasp the potential of?
Yeah, I think the mainstream has hyped AI to be a miracle worker. I think there's a lot of missed expectations with AI. It is just a tool, but it is a disruptor tool. So it will change the way we see work. And I think that's the learning curve for a lot of people right now. But with any new development or advancement in technology, there's always going to be that. So I think education and awareness is this year's motto for AI. I think if you're a business owner or someone who's not technical, please attend like a workshop or seminar, at least one that teaches you the basic fundamentals about prompt engineering or exactly what AI is. Nothing too granular, but just use cases. And that'll gear you up for next year or years to come, really. But I think there's a lot of missed expectations with AI. I think they see ChatGPT and they see all the great things OpenAI is coming out with, but there's not enough implementation and awareness.
And it's tough because you've got two different categories of people. It seems like you've got the people that are watching closely and always seeing the new thing and always wanting to reach for the new thing, but then you've also got the group that heard some of the early horror stories about AI hallucinations or failures, and now that's permanently their mindset about that, right? So how are you getting people over that hump and kind of marrying the two so that you can help them understand what AI is and what it isn't right now?
Yeah, I guess it goes back to demystifying, right? That's our name and our motto and our mission. So it is hard to be that bridge to sort of do that. But it really goes to just being on the front line, right? Not being Sam Altman, very distorted reality, of course. You want someone on the ground, seeing what businesses are doing, and being right there with them on their journey of adoption. So AI is definitely more of a taboo topic these days. Like you said, the gap is becoming greater, where there are people that are losing their jobs because of AI, but then there are people that are actually doing really well because of AI. So it really does depend on who we talk to and be very sympathetic or empathetic to their situation. And then say, well, we understand that AI is here and we want to help you. Right. So that's kind of like our approach to everything. It's a very humanizing approach versus one that's pro AI, essentially.
So the technology is developing very rapidly, and it seems like every week there's some new tool or new model that comes out. Are you seeing expectations shift among your users or even competitors due to these new tools hitting the market on such a regular basis?
For sure. Absolutely. So one of our biggest competitors would be Chatbase. I'm not sure if you've heard of Chatbase, but they've recently hit, I think, 8 million ARR within 2 years. They built one of the first chatbot platforms leveraging ChatGPT and LLMs. They are constantly coming out with new features. Their price is really affordable. So we're constantly trying to compete in different niches that hit that hit our mission statements and our mottos and what we stand for. So we've sort of done slight pivots, added slight features to essentially humanize the AI interface. So we have something called Demy Pocket that's coming out soon. And that's a tappable contact card where you can download someone's information and you can go to networking events, talk with their agent, and things like that. So that's something that a lot of other companies haven't dipped into yet, but it's very on par with Demystify because we really are a relationship company. We are a humanity company. So we want to make sure that people are still forming relationships because that's the non-automatable stuff. And that's the thing that AI can't take away from us.
So, what do you see as the next wave of AI automation that's coming for small and mid-sized businesses?
Right now, voice is very popular, right? So it's been popular. Voice is the one that businesses can actually relate most with because taking calls is not fun objectively. The next automations would be, well, they're kind of all rounders. So like lead prospecting, then there's like email follow-up. A lot of them are very customer centric features, but also like internal. So like onboarding and training, documentation for your employees. But I feel like all companies will become AI first companies in the next 2 years. So they'll be leveraging the majority, if not all of these automations that I mentioned.
Running into any customers or prospects that are strongly against AI and that are pushing back or rejecting it outright?
Strongly against, yes. We have definitely some of the more community-based or organizations or like people who are very artsy, they are strongly don't recommend AI. They think it's stealing. Definitely, to a certain degree, it totally is, and it's required them to pivot their business models, which I'm still trying to figure out how we can get AI into their system. But yeah, of course, like I said, there's a huge gap between being dogmatic AI and then also very fearful of AI.
So, transitioning back to your company and where you see things going, what are your goals for the next, say, 6 to 12 months? And what would you consider to be a big win in the next 12 months?
So 6 months, that would be December, right? We are looking on scaling more users, which I feel like every SaaS should be doing that. We want to do more with local government, but government is sort of on the slower end, but they will eventually get there too. We want to scale our team out a little bit more. We're looking for funding actively. So our main focus is Demy. And then 12 months along, so that's basically a year from now. We do have a user milestone, but it's hard to say because it does change a lot. I think development wise, we want to get into voice. We want to get into other areas of AI for our platform as well so that our customers can use it. I think integrations are huge. So being able to integrate with Shopify, HubSpot, Instagram, meet people where they are. So make it as seamless as possible for them to use AI without them really realizing it and get some real value out of it too.
So, how would you say you will know when Demystify AI has truly hit product market fit?
When the virality meets the feedback. So like when we have a lot of people starting to transition over into these more chatbot or agentic systems and actually seeing value from it, like 10 to 20x.
So, right now, are you more focused on product adoption, funding, entering new markets? What is your main focus right now?
So personally for me, yeah, as a CEO, I'm definitely looking at sales and marketing side, less so development because development is sort of on an autopilot, but definitely sales and marketing, funding, sort of content creation, virality, all the things that building systems around the product now versus actually building the product itself. Because I believe that the systems are the things that sort of nurture the product itself. And it's very, as a CEO and someone who's built it, I have a very strong emotional attachment to the product, but I realize that it's important to step away at some points to actually focus on other parts of the business that may need more help.
What are you experiencing in terms of the fundraising right now? What is that fundraising environment like currently?
Good question. Yeah, there's a lot of companies who are not specifically investing in AI, and there's a lot of companies that are. So it's important to look at obviously the companies that are, but also bootstrapping is a very strong case right now since nobody has to take equity from you. So we're constantly looking at all the different options. whether it's angel investing, bootstrapping, continuously bootstrapping, a loan, lines of credit, and then venture capitalists, Y Combinator, right? So we looked at a lot of the other options, and we're looking at sort of a hybrid model, sort of like a micro loan plus maybe a little bit of venture capital funding, where the equity can kind of stay with Demystify. But it's kind of all over the place since the landscape is changing so rapidly that there's more emphasis on the bootstrapping part of software. That makes
So, what
sense.
would you say is the biggest bottleneck that you're facing right now as you look to not grow, but then start to scale up?
It really is, in my opinion, it's going to be tailoring to each industry. So giving people, throwing them a bone on how they can use it for their own use case. As creative as I want to assume business owners are, they are very stuck in their day-to-day routine. So, and I get it. I'm also a business owner. So it's hard to make changes, let alone changes that could possibly risk the business more money. So we want to make it as easy as possible to give them that use case up front and say, hey, we had a company back there, did exactly what you're doing, and they love it. So the testimonials for that industry is what we're getting at. So real estate use cases, e-commerce use cases, personal trainer use cases, right? Fitness. So different markets will warrant different things for Demy.
Yeah. So you've mentioned virality once or twice, and in our previous conversation, you brought up a recent shout out that spiked your traffic. Are
Hmm.
you thinking about how you can make that a repeatable process?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it would be definitely naive to ignore the power of social media and content, right? So we want to try and build more of that with our customers. I think content also provides transparency. When people can see an account that has a lot of videos and posts and followers, or just for any social media network, it actually provides credibility too. So at the same time, if virality is not the main priority, but I think it's just a byproduct of just being transparent, which people are very receptive to, if that makes sense.
So, what's been the most surprising or frustrating part about trying to sell to SMBs and local service providers?
I think it goes back to like understanding that their day-to-day is very busy and they know that AI is coming and they know that it's taking jobs away, it's changing the landscape, the economic landscape. So the hardest part is convincing them that this can improve their product or provide value to their customers. So it really comes down to show me the work and let's see if we can actually do it. And that's where free trials come in or yearly plans come in so that customers can see the value over a year's period of time, or just as the product grows, they grow with it. So that's, I think, for Demy at least, that's been the hardest thing, but just getting them to understand that, hey, this is something that can help your business and you should give it a chance. But I think as time goes on, that will be more and more true as we keep pushing at it. So I'm not too worried about the future of where Demy is. I think every day we just need to keep showing up and being on the front line and meeting them where they are, as traditional as that sounds. And as long as we keep doing that, we're gonna we're gonna keep growing.
So, if you had a magic wand, hypothetically, that could fix one thing in your business right now that's either holding you back or slowing you down to get to your ultimate goal, what would that one thing be?
Is funding one? Yeah, I mean, of course, if I could make money appear from thin air, definitely. If money is too much of a cop answer, I would say just the overall like sentiment around AI, just changing the mindset of people who are very fearful. It is concerning. It is like for me too, especially. I feel like that's how I got into AI in the first place. I'm a software engineer turned AI engineer, not by choice, by force. So I want people to know that I would not be here as well if it wasn't for the change in the climate of technology. It just happens to be I am a technical founder, so the pivot was a little bit easier, but I want people to know that knowledge work is probably dying, but the knowledge worker is not. So as long as you're a human that can constantly create and find something that they enjoy and love, that's what AI is trying to get out of us. It's the mundane stuff that it's automating so that you yourself as a human can get deeper into the things that you want to get into. Hence why we're doing this podcast, right?
Yeah, exactly right. So if a small business owner was listening to this right now, feeling overwhelmed by AI, what would your one piece of advice be for getting started, getting over that hump?
Like I said, take a small course if you have time. Try out ChatGPT if you haven't already. Try out Gemini. Try out these new tools are coming out that can help your business. Give them a shot, and then you can come consult with Demystify, and we will get you all set up with a plan that helps your business out and can help you grow with AI and not against AI.
Well, Brandon, this has been great. Thanks so much for walking us through your journey and what you're building. Where can our listeners go to learn more about Demystify AI and get in touch with you?
Of course, it's been a pleasure, man. Demy.Chat is our platform, and then demystifyai.org is our website. And you can always follow me on LinkedIn as well.
To everybody listening, thanks for tuning in. As always, please be sure to subscribe, leave us a review as it helps with the algorithms. And as always, keep pitching, keep building, and keep scaling.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Pitch, Build, Scale. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast provider so you never miss an episode, and we'll see you next time.